Hi you guys, I'm back with another video. Today we are doing something a little bit different. And this is going to be a new series on just mental health and how to move on and how to be in a good place peacefully internally and within yourself, and also like basically a journey to self-love. And I myself can admit to you that this journey for myself took some time. I mean, I'm 30 years old now, and I wish I would have known everything that I know now when I was younger, but then what would the journey be for? But we are in a new setting today. This is the backyard. I got a little mic that would help with the wind and stuff, so hopefully that it's not too windy out here. But basically we're going to be talking about 5 steps that you can take that I feel like helped me and helped other people that I know move on from your past and really be at peace with your past, and also start you on your journey to self-love. So we can get started. Number 1, I want to start off by saying the reason why I wanted to start this series was because I found that through my writings, a lot of my writings on my social media, a lot of you guys know that I'm a creative and very poetic, and I love writing. And a lot of my writings you guys have resonated with in the past and always send me messages about how I can help you, or how much the writing the post that I had did helped you realize something or get through something that you're going through. And a lot of my writings are about relationship stuff, or how to move on, or self-love, or just different tips, right? So with all that said, I myself have went through a journey, as we all have in relationships, where we form attachments with people. And when you form a partnership with someone and you really think that it's going to work, whether you love them or not, or whether it was a short relationship or a long relationship, you form natural attachment. Sorry, you can hear the the ice cream man, but I wonder if I should wait till that passes. Okay. So basically we form natural attachments with this person. And what I mean by that is, whether or not you were the person that broke up with them or they broke up with you, a lot of times there are these natural routines that we are set in, whether you lived with the person or not, where you're constantly, whether that's texting them every day, whether that is seeing them every day, whether that is coming home to them or sleeping next to them, there are these routines that are ingrained in us that make us feel like we're at home, or make us feel comfortable, or make us feel less lonely. And so whether they broke up with you or you broke up with them, what happens is, even if you no longer have feelings for that person as far as romantically, you can still have attachments. And this is something that I feel like nobody really talks to us about. And I think that's because a lot of people feel that if they don't have romantic feelings towards someone, that they can just let go, but that's not really how it works. And I wish it was that easy, but it's not. So that's why I wanted to come up with these tips that have helped me get through my past relationships, and also just be at peace with my past, and really know that everything that happened, I learned from everyone that I had been with, and every lesson that I had experienced through different situations and whatnot. So yeah, so that's basically why I wanted to get this started, because I feel like what has helped me can totally help so many others, especially because I know that it has helped some of my friends and some of my family and some strangers that I don't know either. So I decided to write some notes and begin to share them with you all on a series of this journey to self-love. So finally, let's get started. So step 1, allow yourself to feel the emotions. Now, running from the emotions is not going to be the best thing to do. You don't want to try to mask your emotions or try to cover them up with substances like alcohol or smoking or drugs. You want to really sit with these emotions when it first happens. And I know it may seem like a shock to you. I know there has been relationships that I've been in, I couldn't believe that, like, we actually broke up, or I couldn't believe that we were going our separate ways. Like, it was really hard for me, like mentally. It was just like, okay, oh my gosh, we really just broke up. And the first thing you want to do is just submerge yourself in all of these different activities or things to make you forget about them. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been one of those people in the past, in my early 20s, where I used to drown out my emotions with alcohol. I was never a smoker, but I did used to drink occasionally. Now, I would drink socially, but it became like this thing that over time became excessive, I would say. I wouldn't consider myself an alcoholic or anything like that. It was just basically like every time somebody wanted to go out, or every time my girls wanted to go grab drinks after work, it was like I was always there. And then it kind of became this thing like every other day, you know, you're going to have drinks with your girls and you're getting kind of tipsy and you're drowning out your feelings and your emotions. And that is one thing that I feel like I learned because I was constantly running away from the emotions that I was feeling. Now, I don't know if you're into astrology, but I'm a Pisces, and that is something that I feel a lot of my emotions. I feel everything. I feel energy very easily, very deeply. And running away from them just set me back further. And it also even had me doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, like texting my ex or texting somebody that I said I wasn't going to talk to anymore, or just kind of falling back into the same routine. And then the next day, here I am really like looking at myself and be like, Michaela, like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And then I would just set myself deeper into this like hole that I'm trying to climb out of. So that is one thing that I really suggest you do, is just sit with the emotions, allow yourself a week, a few days to just be with them, allow yourself to feel the sadness, the heartbreak, let them go, and allow yourself to look at the pictures that you are about to get rid of. Look at the pictures, to look at the text messages, feel it all in those moments, because you're about to release it. Because after this, you're not going to be coming back to that specific mindset or place anymore after this. So it's time to really feel it all, and then you can move on to the next step. One thing I also want to note is when you allow yourself to really just sit with yourself without using any substances, you allow yourself to cry it out, you allow yourself to write it out, you allow yourself to fill it out, you really give yourself time to face you. This is the real you in your deepest emotions when you're hurt. Know what that feels like, because you don't want to feel it again. So know what it feels like, understand it, allow yourself to be, and let it flow through you. Because what happens is, a lot of times what we can do is we don't let it flow through us and we hold on to it, and then we never actually let it go. And then what happens? We can't move on. So the next step that I suggest for you guys, so that was step 1, feeling the feelings, feeling the emotions. Step 2 is removing them from your routine. So this is really important, and this is something that I actually struggled with, which is why I am presenting it to you as well. Now, removing them from your routine of texting, of talking to them, of seeing them every day, you have to completely stop that. So what I mean by that is, it's now time to have a last look at the pictures, have a last look at all the things that remind you of them, and you need to get rid of it. Because what's happening is, if you have something even in your house that the person gave you, every time you see it, you're going to think of them. So maybe if you don't want to throw it away, I suggest you throw it away. But if you don't want to throw it away, get a box, and you're going to put everything, the pictures, and the pictures on your phone, you need to remove them too. But basically, you're going to put everything in a box, and you either throw it away or you're going to stash it away where you will not bring it out for at least a year. Okay, because this is going to be the time that you are going to focus on really letting go and focusing on yourself. Letters, gifts, anything that was going to remind you of them. With the pictures, I know a lot of us have pictures on our phones. Send them to like a photo bucket or something that you will not look at, or you can delete them. Like, I've done both, so it depends on what you feel like is more valuable to you. Some of you guys maybe want to be friends later on down the line, or actual friends, not friends with benefits, and you may keep the photos. So that depends, but you choose what you want to do, but don't have them easily accessible. Another thing you need to do is delete that text thread. The text thread's going to have all the pictures, it's going to have all the texts, when you can go back and read about how they felt about you and things that they said that make you stir up a lot of feelings and bring up things again of your past. And the one thing that we are trying to stay away from is living in the past. We are now living in the present and moving forward. So backtracking is not the way to go. You are not looking back. You aren't going that way anymore. So also, it is time to cut ties with them. And what I mean is, whether you are cordial enough, if you guys broke up on good terms. I know for myself, I've always had been on good terms with my exes. But what I did, which was an issue with me, which I had to grow from, is I kept in contact with them. That doesn't allow you or him or your partner to grow. So you need to either have a conversation with them, an honest and open conversation with them, and let them know, hey, I care about you enough to let you go and do your thing and to grow outside of me, and I am going to halt us conversing or talking or texting until later on down the line, if even if you feel like doing that, if you feel like you want to be friends with this person, that some person, it's not going to happen right away. It won't work if you guys stay friends completely right after you break up. You have to have some time away from each other in order for that to really work. And even that, we'll talk about that in another video, but that's also really tricky, because when it comes to new relationships, most new people that are going to come into your life are not going to be okay with you being really close with your ex. That's just facts. But whether he broke up with you or she broke up with you, or vice versa, it doesn't matter, because what's happening is you're not breaking the ties of attachment. So you have to break the ties of attachment and change the routine. You no longer want to wake up to a good morning text anymore. It's just not going to work, because you're constantly going to be thinking about them. And then in the future, when you want to move on, how are you supposed to move on or be even open to new relationships when you have this best friend kind of relationship with an ex? It just doesn't really work. It's very rare that it would, and it would be actually harder for you to be open to something new when you are ready. So that is why it's really important for both of you. And through this time, you guys will learn a lot about yourself. I know for myself, one thing that I had to realize was that I wanted to continuously be friends with my exes, because I felt like I did care about them enough to be with them. And even when we weren't together anymore, it was always like, good. There was never any like bad blood or anything. But what I had to understand was, even though in certain situations, if I didn't want to be with them, it wasn't right for me to, if I was feeling lonely or if I missed them as a friend, to hit them up, because then it sets them back. And you don't want that karma on yourself. You wouldn't want somebody doing that to you, right? So especially because it can give them hope, and you don't want to do that. That's not right. And I just always look at things like, if I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me, I'm not going to do that to them. So it's best to be open and honest. This way they know, that, hey, it's not that I don't care about you, or it's not that I'm not thinking of you, in a positive light. But for us right now, and for me, in order for me to grow, I need to have this space and time where we need to be completely apart and have no contact. With social media, some of you guys may be thinking, well, what do I do? Am I supposed to delete them? Am I supposed to block them? Now, for me, there has been situations where I have just unfollowed them, but it wasn't anything bad. And then there's others where I have kept them on my social media. It just depends on your preference. If it's somebody that makes you feel toxic or makes you feel some kind of way, you're going to go constantly keep checking their stuff, unfollow them. But if it's somebody that you don't want to unfollow, then you can just mute them. I have people muted. I have a lot of people muted, to be honest. Like, I don't watch a lot of people's posts or stories, because, to be honest, I only watch people's stories or read people's posts that inspire me. So if you're not inspiring me and you're just posting some BS, I will mute you and call it a day and keep it pushing. Now, I know some of you may be wondering, because especially a lot of you are probably my age and you have kids, and if you have kids with a partner that you are separating from, this can be really tricky. Now, the reason why it's tricky is because you're going to have to deal with this person for the rest of your life, probably because you have a child together. And raising a kid or a child or being a parent, that doesn't stop at 18, let's be honest. So, in order for you to make this a cordial and great co-parenting situation, it's best to just be open and honest about what you guys can do going forward for the child. I grew up in a broken household where, my mother and my father split when I was like 8, and it was the best thing that they could have done for me, because it was toxic living in a household with them at each other's throats 24/7. Like, it was crazy. I'm so glad that they did it. As a child, it was hard for me to understand, but as an adult, I am so glad that they did. Now, for this, I'm not going to go deep into this, but one thing I do suggest is you have a child with this person, so there's no way of getting rid of them. By talking down about them to your child, by talking down towards them about what they do or what they don't do for your child, that's never going to be a way to get across that you want to be in a happy space. Now, I can say I don't know that many relationships that do very well with co-parenting, but I could say, just from learning from my own experience with my parents, in the beginning it was really tough. They wouldn't even talk to each other. But I would say that if I was in that situation, I would, talk to my child's father and basically tell them, hey, I want to do whatever is best for our child and their well-being. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, and I want to make sure that our kid deserves to see both of us happy, even if it's not together. And if you come from a good place in your heart while telling them this type of thing, and I suggest maybe doing it in person if you are able to, it's really, if it's coming from the heart, the other person will see, hey, she really does want to see me happy, even though it's not with her, and my kid deserves to see me happy too. Yes, let's do this. Let's co-parent. What can we do to make this situation better for our child? And I think that as long as you keep your child as the main source of the only reason that you were connecting, then there shouldn't really be that many issues. Of course, when it comes to values and morals and all that, that's a whole nother topic. But I would say anytime you're in conflict with your child's father or child's mother, the best thing to do is to come at that person genuinely from the heart, not talking down to them, not coming with anger, aggression, or any type of animosity, because that will never get you anywhere. You guys will never see eye to eye if you do that. So yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into the parenting part, but now step 3, I'm going to say, is tapping into the divine and practicing forgiveness. So this one is tough. It is hard. Now, tapping into the divine, not necessarily, but practicing forgiveness is not easy. So a lot of times when we're in relationships, the reason that we break up with someone or they break up with us is because we had done something or they did something that made us feel a certain type of way, and we can't seem to get over it. And so we either break up or we have issues, or it could be something too, you guys maybe grew apart, but usually one person holds some type of anger towards the other or both. And in this type of situation, it can be hard to really look at that person as a good person, or it can be hard to actually forgive them for what they've done to you. And the truth is, you are not forgiving them for them. You are forgiving them for you, because you will not be able to move on or be forgiven for what you've done to other people until you learn how to forgive others. Okay? It's just the law of the universe. That's how this works. And I tell you, it's how it works. Let's first start with talking about how to tap into the divine. So you may be like, well, what does that mean? Well, we were created in this world by, whether you call it God, the universe, the light, goddess, love, the world, like whatever you want to call it, it is the infinite source of love. And whatever it is you call it, I'm gonna need you to tap into it. Okay, so there is something outside of us that we know is there, but there's also something within us. It is all encompassing with us. We are connected to it. It is us. We are it. And you need to tap into this divine source of energy. You might be like, well, Michaela, how do we do that? So at first, in order to tap in, you need to start becoming a being that is at peace with yourself. Because in order to be at peace with others, or in order to understand others, or in order to grow and become a being that doesn't automatically lash out at people, or in order to become a being that isn't angry, or someone that's happy, you need to be at peace with yourself. And by being at peace with yourself, you also can forgive others. And you drop your ego and allow yourself to do those things, to be peaceful, to forgive other people for what they've done to you. So in order to tap into this divine essence, we need prayer. And no matter what religion you are, prayer is basically the movement that takes place between form and spirit. Now, Bob Proctor talks about this, and I love the way that he explains it, because no matter what religion you are, even if you're not religious, you can be spiritual, or you can even just be within your own divine source and tapping in there. Now, since it is the movement that takes place between spirit and form, you may be wondering, well, what is spirit? And like I said, Bob Proctor, I love him. He's a great author, great motivational speaker, and he speaks of the spirit as though it is omnipresent, which means that it is everywhere at all times. Everywhere. It's within you. So when you speak, when you pray, when you affirm, there is so much power in your, not only your words, but in your thoughts. It starts with your thought before it comes out of your mouth, right? So just because people don't see your thoughts doesn't mean that those thoughts don't have negative or positive vibrations. So this also can even help you tap into really taking a look at the way that you view things and the way that you see things and how you judge things, and really seeing how much maybe negative vibrational energy that you carry in your subconscious. Because I know that I've had to practice myself with reversing a lot of negative thoughts in my mind. Anytime I had a negative thought, I had to reverse it with a positive one to start changing the dynamic and the paradigms of my subconscious mind. Now, some of you may be wondering, okay, well, how do I pray? Praying is talking and speaking and using faith and sending good to others, or even asking for what you know that you need, or also being thankful for what you already have. So now there's no specific type of prayer you need to say. You don't need to call upon any specific name. It's whatever you want it to be. Like I said, you can call it love, you can call it God. I call it God. I call it love. I call it light. I call it the divine source of energy. I call it the universe. I use many different names. So can you. And with all that said, when you are in prayer, you are going to be praying for this person because you want to release them. You want to release any negative energy. You want to release any bad vibes, but you also want to send good energy towards this person that you are trying to move on from, that you are trying to let go of and be at peace with, so you no longer have any animosity, anger, or hurt and feelings from them. You can say something like, I, Michaela, released so-and-so to their greatest good, and I send positive love and vibrations towards their way. I forgive them for this. I understand that. Or you can keep it simple, just like the first sentence I said. Now, by doing that over and over, at first it's going to feel a little weird because you may not really feel that way yet. But studies show that when you start to repeat something over and over, you slowly start to believe it. So over time, what happens is you actually start to feel good feelings about this person and send good energy towards them. This doesn't mean that you're going to hook back up with him. This doesn't mean that you're trying to get back with him. No, this is just sending good energy towards them, because you know what? Any type of energy that you put out, it comes back to you. So also, when you think about if you have any negative thoughts towards this person, you really want to think about how that's affecting you. Any negative thought that you have about one other person outside of you, it's really a reflection of you in yourself. So whether or not, it's not even a matter anymore of like who hurt who or who did what to so and so. It's really about, where do you want to be? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be at peace? Do you want to let this person go? Or are you going to hold on to this anger and allow it to take control of your life? You need to let it go. For me and my past, I've always, even till this day, if somehow they come in my mind, I pray for them. I send them good energy. I pray for abundance in their life. I pray for healing in their life. I pray for an amazing partner in their life. I pray for guidance for them. And it just feels so good. Like after a while, you really start to be like, oh my gosh, like I don't even have any anger towards them. I don't even have any thoughts of them as much anymore, you know? And you can actually look at your past with them and really be at peace. Like I learned so much from that relationship. That person was a teacher of mine because I learned this, and this, you know? It really can change your perception. That's what we're doing, is we are going to change the perception of our mind, because when you change your perception, you can change your life. Anybody that has the ability to change their perception about something can change the way that they view the world. Now, I'll tell you, that was a huge game changer for me when I started thinking about the thoughts that I was thinking, because there were times, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, where I was just like, oh well, I'm gonna do this because then they'll do that, and I'm gonna do this. But it really was just games. It was just, how immature is that? Like, think about it. You are better than that. You got this. You can do it. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, nothing worth having is easy. It's going to take some work. So you're worth it. Your happiness is worth it. Don't let anything get in between that. So one way that I was able to make sure that this was a practice for me that I didn't forget to do, and something that really changed my life, was having a gratitude journal. So having a gratitude journal basically allowed me to see all of the things that I'm blessed with every day and write about them. And when you have an energy about you that is very grateful and thankful, you are no longer focused on the things that you don't have. When you focus on the good, more good comes. And this is how healing takes place. And so what I do is I have a journal. I've been doing it for over a year now, and it has changed my life. So these are some tips for you to maybe follow these guidelines if you'd like to also start your gratitude journal, because I use my gratitude journal and my prayer within the same journal. My prayers, I should say. So in the beginning, I write down at least 10 to 15 things that I'm grateful for. Now for you in the beginning, you may not expand as much as I do, but I write down what I'm grateful for and why. This helps me process it like in a different way. But you can just write down like 10 to 15 things that you're grateful for. Next, you're going to choose 3 people. One of those people are going to be the person that you were trying to move on from, or the people that you feel like you have had any type of anger towards, or people that you need to release, or somebody that is bothering you, that it's affecting your life. You need to start praying for them. So it could, for me, I'm at a place now where I don't have any animosity or anger or resentment towards anyone. So I pick 3 people that just come to my mind that I love and I care about and that I want better for them. And I pray for them. I pray for specific things in their life. And what is amazing, and this is why it's so amazing to me how some people say, oh, well, like, we just got to pray for them as if it's like their last resort. Prayer is so powerful. I've had people reach out to me after I've prayed for them about specific things I've prayed for them for that they had no idea that I prayed for them about. It's like miracles. Just, you're sending out miracles into the world. And I know that sounds crazy for someone that is not spiritually in tune, but I'm telling you, it is so powerful. That's why I'm telling you, your words and your thoughts are so powerful. And lastly, of course, you want to pray for yourself. So you can ask for guidance. You can pray for getting that job that you want. You can pray for stability. You can pray for focus. You can pray for whatever you want to pray for yourself. Make sure you include yourself in there as well. And I kind of leave that towards the end for me, and then I close up my journal and save it for the next day. Now I try to do it in the morning times, just so I can kind of get it out of the way and send my blessings out. And then at night I kind of, do my readings, dive into my books or whatever editing I have to work on. But I try to do my meditation and my gratitude journal in the morning right when I wake up. Now, Meditation. Now we're going to get to that really quick. I'm not going to go too deep into this because that may be like a whole nother video. But what is meditating? Some of you may be wondering. Meditation is a place of peace within yourself. It's a place for many people, it's actually different things. For some people, it's a place of peace. Some people, it's a place to calm their mind and to focus on their breathing and to just step outside of their self and to cleanse their thoughts. For some people, it's a way to listen to the most divine, to hear God speak to you during that quiet time. If you think about it, we're so busy nowadays, we don't even really take time to be in silence. We're constantly engaging with music or people or social media. Our mind is never really just quiet. So I found that that is another thing that helps people, but it also helps people too with manifesting. Now you can do guided meditations, which are amazing, which helps you visualize what you want to see yourself become, or the version of yourself you know that you are. You just need to get there. So by seeing it in your mind first and thinking it, it starts to attract and everything starts to come to you. And manifesting is a whole nother topic. Now I've used different methods. You can totally use different methods. For me, meditation was kind of weird at first because it was like, okay, I'm just supposed to sit here, and I found all my thoughts were just like kind of racing 100 miles an hour and I didn't know how to calm them. But then when you focus on the breathing, that's what really helps if you're doing like a quiet meditation. Now I'll leave a few links down below for you guys to kind of click to see, what works best for you. But meditating at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes, if you even can get that a day. Mine ranges from like 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes I go into deep, long meditations, but I usually set time aside for that. But it just depends on how I'm feeling. But starting your day off like that first thing in the morning is so beneficial. Sometimes I always tell myself, Michaela, if you don't meditate, then you leave room for yourself to make mistakes. And it's so true, because I find the days that I don't meditate, I feel a little off game. But anyways, moving on to the next step. Step number 4 is focusing on your purpose. Now, I've noticed that a lot of us women, when we don't know our purpose and we don't know what we are here to do on this earth, when we get into relationships, we tend to become too clingy. And why is that? Because you're not focused on anything else, girl. So if you're not focused on anything else, you are only allowing this man or this person to consume your whole life. And that is not how it's supposed to be. Now think about it. If you are someone that walks in your purpose and you know your purpose, or even if you don't know your purpose but you're working towards it, a higher vibrating man or woman is going to be so attracted to that, because naturally, that if they know their purpose too, it's amazing to be equally yoked and to combine with someone that has that same mentality and that same drive and passion as you. And then it's easier to understand one another, and when you come together, it is like just two beautiful forces that can be one but can also stand on their own. And that's really important. It's really important. It's something that I didn't learn until later, but I did always feel like myself, like I always knew that I had a purpose, because I myself have been in experiences where my partner wasn't motivated to even understand that they had a purpose or passion. Like, at least just understanding that you have a purpose and a passion that you can work towards, that's even great, because not all of us know exactly what it is, but if you're working towards that, then that is something that is really important. It can be unattractive to someone that is on that road to walking in their divine purpose, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So a lot of you may be wondering, well, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my passion? And like I said, some of us don't discover it until we're older, but start thinking about things like this that may, kind of jog your mind. Think of, what would you be doing right now if you had all the money in the world, but you could help other people? What are some things that you enjoy doing so much that you wish you can get paid for doing it? What are some of your talents and some things that you're good at that you love doing? those types of things can guide you and direct you into that place if you're not sure yet. And then maybe take a class on doing one of those things, or start sharing your capabilities of your talents with others. Nobody will know what you're talented at unless you start living and walking in it, right? And when you start to feel purposeful about your life, everything just starts to flow, and people, things, opportunities just start coming to you. Even when you start to feel like, oh my gosh, but I don't have the money to do that, or I don't have the credentials to do that, or I don't have whatever it is to make this happen. You can't think that way. You have to know that when you decide to have faith and you believe in this purpose that you have and you start walking in it, I promise you, everything that you do, the universe will just start bringing and attracting and magnifying everything that you desire towards you. It's like you become a magnet to those things that you are trying to walk in, that purpose. Now, I know I'm not trying to make this video super long, but to take it another step further, I suggest that you watch what you consume. Now, this is not just consuming food, although you guys know I'm plant-based vegan, and I talk about how much plant-based life has changed my life mentally, physically, and emotionally, and how I healed my autoimmune disease, how I healed my skin and everything. But it's also about what you're consuming with your mind. So on social media, I suggest actually most people take a break from social media after a breakup. It can be a lot to just stir up a lot of your thoughts and emotions when you're trying to move forward in peace. But look at the accounts that you're following. Are they helping you work towards your purpose, or are they helping you stay distracted? Do they inspire you, or are they uninspiring? Really kind of like go through your social media, filter that stuff, and also put a time limit on how much you're on social media. That can really help too, because you don't want to be constantly distracted from what you're supposed to be doing here. We only have so much time here, so use it wisely, So to take it another step further, this one was big for me because I love music, but when I was really going through it, I had to cut all music, and I did it for like 30 days the first time. And you guys may be like, well, what is that gonna do? Well, it actually did a lot, because I realized that the music I was listening to was bringing back a lot of emotions and feelings. And I'm such, like I said, a Pisces. I feel everything. My memory is so good. I can snap back to a certain day, time, place. I can remember how it smelled. I can remember how it felt, everything. So by cutting out music and replacing that with inspiring audiobooks, oh my gosh, you guys, this changed my life, and still has. Even nowadays, when I find that I'm distracted, turn off music, get back on my game, and listen to positive and motivating audiobooks. They change my life. So if you are up for a challenge, I'm going to challenge you guys to do a few things. If you are up for this challenge and you're trying to really move on, and you're trying to really manifest your best life, and also be at peace with your past and the people in your past, I suggest you do these things, okay? These few things before we move on to step 5. I suggest you stop listening to music for 30 days, meditate every morning or night, and also write in your gratitude journal, or make a gratitude journal notebook. You can buy a $1 little journal at Dollar Tree or whatever, and write those 3 guidelines that I had kind of set up for you every day. And I want you to listen to this book that really helped me, and it's called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And man, it really helped me with the perception of the way that I view people, and the way that they do things, and how they do things, and how our energy is meant to be a source of love, and how so is everyone else's, but that we are supposed to be here to either give love or receive love. And a lot of times we're not necessarily always doing that. So if you are walking outside of that, you are walking outside of your divine creative self. A few other things you can add: maybe go plant-based for the month. These are a lot of things to do at once, but if you're up for the challenge, if you're like me, my mental is like, okay, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Not everyone's like that, so maybe you can take one step at a time. But like for me, maybe go plant-based. Go through all of the people that you follow on social media, or even take a social media break for 30 days. Look at it like a self-cleansing towards self-love. Because a lot of us really don't even know how to love ourselves, let's be honest. I know I didn't. And it took me some time to get here. Like I said, y'all, I'm 30 and I'm just now, getting it. So, within the past few years on this self-healing journey. Also, try to get some type of workout or exercise in every day. Get some sun. Now, if you're not ready to work out yet, go for walks, 30 minutes to an hour, 3 times a week. And if you could, 30 minutes every day, at least. Just get out and go for a walk. It's going to change you. Get out in nature. These are things that are just naturally healing from Mama Earth. These are things that God has given us to experience. We are one with nature. And when you start to make these changes and feel gratitude and pray for others and really be spiritually in tune with yourself, it changes you. And also even when it comes to like eating specific foods, when it comes to eating foods that are meant to heal the body, and foods that are electric, and foods that our cells are meant to consume, it changes different parts in our brain that allows us to see it. It opens our third eye, allows us to see things that maybe we were not able to see before because we are so blinded by what we consume. If you're one of those people like myself that you cut out the 30 days for the music, A Return to Love is a great book. Now, I would even do it in my car. I even would listen to these books while I was in my car. I didn't listen to music at all. When I was doing the dishes, I was listening to it. When I was in my room, when I was writing, I would listen to it. Whenever I had a chance to listen to it, or anytime I would listen to music, I would replace it and listen to audiobooks. So I'll have a list for you guys of some audiobooks that really changed me. And like I said before on some of my other videos, Scribed is a great app. This is not sponsored at all, but it's like $9.99 a month, and you can actually get the first month free. So look at that. The first month they let you do a trial and it's free, but basically you have unlimited access to all these books. All the books that I'm recommending are on there. And I use it. I kept the $9.99 a month because it's like, that is so good for all of the books that you can listen to, because you'll pretty much finish the Return to Love within a few days, to be honest. So you're going to be super inspired to like want to learn more. Step 5, we've made it to step 5. Value this time alone. Value this time alone. You don't know if your next relationship is going to be your person. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, but do not rush into anything. I know it's really easy for us to think that, I found this other person, I'm talking to this new person, and it's taking my mind off of my ex. No, don't do that. For one, you're only hurting yourself, because then you're putting more feelings or investing more time in someone and you haven't even got over the last person. Then you're creating soul ties with a new person. It doesn't make sense, and it's not healthy for you in the long run, because then you'll just create this cycle and this pattern of jumping from one person to another, and then you have all of this past trauma or problems that you've never dealt with, and then you keep attracting certain men or women with the same issues because you haven't healed the parts of you that need to be healed. So you really need to take a step back, go within yourself, use this time alone to heal, to understand yourself. We are spiritual beings living in a physical body. And I feel like we have come here to understand ourselves, to learn ourselves, to experience the connection of the divine and go within. I feel like all of us are on this journey to finding ourselves, and it's a never-ending journey. It's never ending, and that's the beauty of life. But think about it. You don't want to be having a relationship with someone new but still thinking about someone from your past. It doesn't feel right. I've been there before, and it doesn't feel good, because here you are thinking like, oh, this new person deserves the best of me, but here I am thinking about the last person. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. it will always come out in some way. And even if your friends reach out to you and tell you, girl, let's go out, let's go do this, or your homies tell you, let's go do this or do that, and you may not feel like you're up for it, and that's okay. It's okay to say no. This is a time that it is okay to say no. This is a time it is okay to learn how to be alone. This is a time that it is great to date yourself. Do you know what it's like to really be alone, to take yourself out on a date, to go take a solo trip somewhere? You guys, when I took my solo trip to Bali for 3 months, that was one of the best things that I could ever do for myself. I still can't believe I did it. But now that I have had that time alone by myself, I don't need anyone. Do I want a companionship, a partner? Of course. In the future or in the present time, when that moment happens, it will be, and it will be for me. But am I going and searching for it? No. I know that when the time is right, it will come. And I know whatever is meant for me is already mine. And when you see and start to experience for yourself how amazing you can treat yourself when you go and take yourself and start to date yourself and go to movies by yourself, you don't need anyone, oh my gosh, you will start living your best life. You will start realizing that, like, dang, this whole time I always thought I needed a friend to go do this with me, or a boyfriend to go do this with me, and you start just doing it yourself. You will meet some amazing people because you will be solo. And I met some of the most amazing people all around the world by traveling alone. But not even if you're just traveling alone, even if you go out to dinner alone, or even if you're at the movies alone, it really does something that I can't really explain until you do it. It may feel awkward at first, but you feel so powerful into that part of yourself. And then if somebody comes along that doesn't value you enough to do those things with you or to treat you in that capacity, you already understand that you have this love within yourself that you will not succumb to letting or even allowing someone beneath that vibrating level that you're on to come into your life, or to be, you won't accept it, and you will only accept, and you will have standards, and you will only accept what is best for you, someone that is equally yoked for you. So I promise you, you are so worth it. You are so worth it. You are going to get through this. You got this. And I'm, like I said, this is the beginning of a series for me. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be next, but I feel like this is a great start. And I feel like so many of you guys needed to hear this and needed for me to share this, because this is what has helped me. And I'm so grateful to have walked this journey to be able to share it with you guys. Now, lastly, this is like extra credit, okay? So this is something that I just wanted to mention that I did, that it was kind of a little out there, but I felt like it really helped me. So once you had some time, if you're in a good place with your ex or your exes, I suggest that you reach out to them. And this could be even in the beginning. Like in the beginning, if you are already cool with them before you kind of cut ties with them for good, tell them, hey, I have something I really want to work on myself during this time, and I feel like I could really use some of your insight to help me grow. Could you have a FaceTime with me? Could you have a phone call with me? Or did you want to sit down with me and have this chat? So this is what I did. And I got this actually from Shannon Boodram's book, The Game of Desire. I think that is what it's called. I think that's what it's called. But it gave me an idea, and I did it, and it was such a great idea. So I had did it with 2 people, and I had asked them, please just give me some feedback on some things that I could work on as a woman in a relationship, because I know who I am as a single woman, but I don't really know what things I need to work on as a person in a relationship. Sometimes, especially too, if we are like all in our ego and like, sometimes we can get like that, let's be honest. And so I did that, and I also told them to give me some feedback on some things that they thought that were great about me, and that I should continue to do in my next, in my future or my next future relationships. And I told them I would do the same for them to help them grow if they were open to it. They were like, totally. It was so amazing. It really helped me understand that, like, there are some great things about me as a woman. Obviously I knew that, but just that I should keep doing. But also there were some things that they pointed out that, I thought, okay, yeah, I can definitely work on that. That is something that I can work on, and it wasn't anything crazy, like it wasn't anything bad. I didn't really get any horrible information back, but that's besides the point. Even if you do get some bad, feedback, that's okay. Take it as constructive criticism. Use this as time to grow. So if you have that type of relationship with your past, then I suggest doing that. Otherwise, I would wait until a long time, until you feel like you're over them, to maybe have those conversations. But until then, that may not, like I said, that's an extra credit kind of thing. That's like, if you're on another level of connection with your past. You guys, I think that's all. I know that was a lot. This was a long video, but I hope it's helped you. I hope that you guys have gained something from this video, and let me know down below if you've done any of these things or what books you suggest. And I will leave, like I said, a list of books that I feel like changed my life, for the audiobooks that you guys can listen to, or the regular books that you can read. And I hope you're all well. I hope you're all healing. I hope you are working on your self-love journey, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.